Thank you very much, dear ministers, ladies and gentlemen. I would like, first of all, to thank the Italian presidency for organizing this launch event of the EU strategy for the Adriatic and Ionian region, together, of course, with the European Commission, the Adriatic and Ionian Initiative. It's a big pleasure for me to be here today and to have this opportunity to address in this moment of celebration for a region and countries which are so dear to me. They are countries to which I visited as a tourist and in my different capacities, and it will be a great pleasure for me in the next years to visit these regions. And today's event represents a culmination of years of common work involving the European Commission, several member states and regions, as well as a number of partners and institutions from all over the area. The European Council has now endorsed the strategy for the Adriatic and Ionian region, a strategy which the European Commission proposed last June, and it's delivered as desired before the end of 2014. This is really a great achievement, and let me take this opportunity to congratulate you all. The launch is a key event for the future, and this enthusiastic support which numerous partners have shown on this initiative allows us to expect that ancient ties between the region's territories will soon revitalize. There were countless attempts in the past to do so, and this was, for example, the dream of Emperor Justinian of Byzantium, and many others followed, and now we are here to have this strategy on the table, and we are confident that we will meet the enormous expectations raised by this agreement. Time has come for us, Commission, Member States, regions, partners, to move from words to action, to deliver together the strategy hand in hand with the non-EU participating countries. Let me quickly outline the three areas for which joint work in the framework of the strategy should clearly make the difference in our view. First of all, it's economic development. The region benefits from one of the best geographic frames we could imagine. Thousands of kilometers of coastal line, lots of natural ports, incomparable natural landscape. The question is how to translate these natural advantages into economic assets and then into growth, jobs, and wealth for the people. I would suggest concentrating our efforts as does the strategy in four major areas of work. First area of work, blue growth. The Adriatic and Ionian seas constitute one of the largest maritime areas in our continent. They are full of resources and economic opportunities, as a number of civilizations prior to us early understood. Blue technologies, maritime clusters, aquaculture, fisheries, marine knowledge, and the list of assets is almost endless, and I'm sure Commissioner Vella will demonstrate this in a few moments, certainly better than myself. Second area of work is connecting the regions. The Adriatic and Ionian region is endowed with a huge number of natural ports, like Piraeus in Greece, Vlore in Albania, or Koper in Slovenia. For ages, exchanges have been in the very nature of the region. Now we have the opportunity to join forces for exploiting all these natural assets and invest together in a vast range of areas. We can, for example, facilitate revitalization of sea routes by upgrading ports and improving safety system and disaster response. We can also promote multimodal transport connections through the development of road and rail links between ports and the inland territories, or improve electricity supply for facilitating integration of the electricity networks. Once again, the number of possibilities are huge. Third area of work is protecting and enhancing the environment. The Adriatic and Ionian region houses a series of biosphere reserves and other unique natural areas of great value, such as Tara River Basin in Montenegro, the Fruška Gora National Park in Serbia, or the Una National Park in Bosnia-Herzegovina. These are assets of inestimable value for the 70 million of inhabitants of the region. It is not just a matter of protecting beautiful animal and vegetal species. In fact, there will be no future for fisheries or tourism in the area without a proper and living environment. There are many things that cooperation can achieve here. We can set up cross-border nature park. We can ensure a healthy and balanced marine and coastal ecosystem by reducing nitrate runoff into the sea. We can preserve and enhance exceptional biodiversity by safeguarding habitats together. Fourth area of work, promoting sustainable tourism. We all know the large territories of Italy, Croatia, and Greece are among the major tourist destinations in the world. They host a wide number of innovative, sustainable, and quality tourism projects, which are both profitable and respectful of the social, cultural, and natural heritage. These territories can certainly share their experience, helping other regions to replicate some of their best success stories. Therefore, here as well, there are many possibilities for cooperation across partners and territories. So, blue growth, closer connections, better environment, sustainable tourism, prospects for socio-economic development in the Adriatic and Ionian regions are truly promising. On our side, you know that European structural and investment funds are available to provide considerable funding in order to help regions and partners to develop projects along these and similar lines. However, you will agree with me that money alone cannot guarantee per se success of the projects. Money is necessary, but not sufficiently. You may build hundreds, thousands of motorways, but we have also proper traffic lights, panels in the place, and for our strategy, it's exactly the same. There will be no useful projects unless we agree on how we can best work together. In other words, we need appropriate governance. It means strong political will, and their presence here is a proof of this political will, support, and perseverance. And of course, with your enthusiastic leadership and responsibility from all participating countries, I'm sure that we will align all this national and regional policy with a strategy, and we have effective decision-making, good and effective organization, and of course, capacity building. The Commission, in partnership with the national coordinators for the strategy, is setting up now a framework for effective governance and managing. I am delighted to note that the Ministers of Foreign Affairs will adopt today a joint statement on the governance system, which will pave the way for a prompt start of implementation on the ground. Beyond socio-economic development and governance, it's the European integration. I'm coming from a country which benefited a lot from the European integration, and it's my pleasure, it's very close to me to be close to the non-EU member states who are willing to join the European Union. The strategy is far from being only about socio-economic development or governance, it's about reinforcing the process of European integration. And I'm sure it will strengthen the ties between the four member states, but also about bringing the participating candidate and potential candidate countries closer to the EU. Thanks to the strategy, we have now a platform for EU and non-EU countries to work closely together in order to address common challenges and opportunities and prepare the Europe of tomorrow. But at the same time, available means are also considerable. The European structural and investment funds in general and cohesion policy in particular are ready now for supporting this strategy. I strongly believe that we are best placed to do so. Our funds have been shaped in a way to adapt and to the strengths and needs of each territory, and these funds empower countries, regions, and partners to obtain the best from their assets. Of course, it is up to us together to use this power and to use the greatest to the greatest extent of our possibilities. Personally, I would like to encourage your meeting, exchange, learn, discuss, and propose joint projects to fit into the strategy. Projects that can bring the best this region is able to offer. Projects that can foster growth and job creation and transform the daily life of local people. I'm convinced that this region can give a new impetus to the European integration process and to be an example for other macro-regional and sea basin strategies. The Commission is ready to support you in this venture, and I am sure we will all together overcome these challenges. Thank you very much, and of course, I am, as I said in the beginning, I am very pleased to start in this very hectic weeks of activity as a new commissioner with this launch, and I think it's also something that will bring good luck for my mandate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very important words, and very many things were tackled here. What's important and why Adriatic Ionian region is very important for the European member countries and the others who are aspiring to become members soon. Blue growth is a very important aspect of European Union, Adriatic Ionian initiative, and therefore I would like to invite Commissioner Karmenu Vella, Commissioner for Environment, Maritime Affairs and Fisheries, to tackle that issue which was already briefly mentioned previously.
Thank you very much, Professor, colleague Commissioner, Ministers, members of the European Parliament, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to join my colleague, Corina Creţu, in congratulating the Italian presidency, together with the European Commission, the Adriatic and Ionian Initiative, and the Marche region for launching the EU strategy for the Adriatic and the Ionian region. I am especially very happy and honored to be here, firstly because I'm very much interested to get to know the people I will be working with in trying to find the right balance between the different coastal activities. I know how difficult and delicate this could be from my days as Minister for Tourism. And secondly, because I have the feeling that I'm in the right place at the right moment. This is the key moment for the prosperity of the Adriatic Ionian region. What happens from now on will determine if we go from words to deeds, if we manage to propel the region out of the crisis, and if we can manage to put its economy back on track. This meeting will shape our future. And like all of you, I would like to do my bit as well. My colleague, Commissioner Corina Creţu, has just explained that for this to happen, for the strategy to work, all countries need to align their policies and their funding, national and regional, towards it. And it's true, the ball is now in your court. You are the key players. The Commission can help you navigate, and we will, but you are the ones steering the ship. So my job here today is for me to motivate you to get going full steam ahead. We know that there are many advantages to the sea basin approach. The success stories of the Baltic and other regions are proof of that. And when I talk about advantages, I am referring to the economic, environmental, and social advantages which are all intertwined between them. It is through our efforts towards a stronger economy and a healthier environment that we can generate jobs, good and sustainable jobs that are key to improve the standard of living of all our citizens. So, where do we start from? As explained by the professor, the plan identifies 4 main pillars: blue growth, connecting the region, environmental quality, and sustainable tourism. They are all important areas, but in my opinion, for the region's economy, the biggest opportunities clearly comes from tourism. Tourism is a most resilient sector that is a massive revenue earner and a job creator, and it also produces results quickly. The product is already there, but to compete and win the race against other emerging world destinations, we have to do better on a number of support services, such as accessibility, the quality of service, our infrastructure, comfort levels, a warm and hospitality, promotion and marketing, a healthier environment, and so on. The time is now for regions, port authorities, marinas, nautical sector, and local communities to get together and to discuss and explore new opportunities, to create the necessary transport links, to increase off-season arrivals by offering cultural, religious, and culinary routes, to include hinterland destinations so that those economies can also benefit from the intense influx of tourists, to set up a network of well-serviced and efficient marinas, and to advertise the region and improve its image, not only through individual marketing, but also through a joint and common branding. This and other blue growth sectors, such as fisheries and aquaculture, blue energy, and blue biotechnology, will make a big positive difference towards a better life for our people. However, we cannot have a sustainable action plan without adequate regards to the environment. So we also need an environmental effort. As an example, the action plan looks into the whole life cycle of marine litter, because marine litter affects not only tourism, but also our fisheries, birds, and biodiversity in general. It identifies appropriate actions which will have to involve scientific communities and public administrators. We still know far too little about litter, how it travels on the surface, how it travels underwater in the form also of microplastics. There is a clear need to exchange data and share best practices among countries. And we should promote alliances between research and business to rethink packaging, reduce the use of plastic, and develop bio-based and biodegradable plastics that quickly decay in the marine environment. In this respect, there is a new industry which is starting to be developed. We need to raise public awareness on the consequences of too many layers of packaging. Fishermen are very well placed to collect litter and discarded fishing gear, and the EU is already financing 3 actions in the Adriatic Ionian Sea through the project Guardians of the Seas. But then, we also need to ensure that litter can be properly received, stocked, and processed on land, which requires dedicated research and investments in port facilities. So, as you can imagine, there is still a lot to be done on the aspects of maritime environment. I mentioned dedicated research. The Adriatic Ionian is already at the forefront in robotics for ocean observation and exploration. Nothing should stop it from pioneering also the research of marine bioactive compounds for pharmaceutical and cosmetics purposes, or from developing deep water floating platforms from offshore wind turbines, or new technologies for switching from diesel to electrical vessels. These technologies are part and parcel of blue growth and are capable of pushing the technological frontier very far and very fast. I do not hesitate to say that now is the time to increase research capacity and take it out of the lab and into the market with the help of academia together with the public and private sector. In any kind of planning, space is always a very important element for which different activities have to compete. we need to find a balance between competing activities such as transport, cable laying, offshore installations, aquaculture, forms of tourism in the Adriatic Ionian Sea basin. We have to make the right choice between conflicting and complementing activities. And as an example, I would simply mention that, for example, if I were to invest 20, 30 million in a hotel on a coast, and then all of a sudden, right in front of my hotel, I would have a number of aquaculture, fish farms, that would simply not go. These two activities won't complement each other, and the investment I would have made would literally fall down in a couple of weeks. This is the rationale of the new directive on maritime spatial planning. Economically, it reduces unwanted costs for businesses and creates legal certainty. Environmentally, it allows us to monitor impacts and helps us keep them in check. For EU members, such a plan will have to be implemented and transposed into national law with the designation of competent authorities by 2016. Even though non-member states are not obliged to do so, they too seem to think that a coherent transnational approach makes better sense. The extensive partnership of all 7 states within the ADRI-Plan project is a true example. In any case, spatial planning at sea is something rather new for both members and non-members of the EU, so implementation will be a challenging period for all. It will imply breaking out of our silos and working across sectors, across national administrations, and across governance levels. It will mean that the EU will have to support capacity building and promote cooperation and data sharing among the basin's local and national administrations. Luckily, all these activities produce jobs and can be financed through a plethora of funds and programs: the European Maritime and Fisheries Fund, the European Transnational Cooperation Programme for the Adriatic Ionian Region, the regional funds, the 7th Framework Programme, Horizon 2020, and more. In other words, the money is there, the political will is there. The moment could not be more favorable for you to set sail and start implementing the action plan straight away. If we are to channel the funds towards clear, well-defined, concrete results, obviously this needs to be done at sea basin and macro-regional level. It is only through a genuine partnership between governments, businesses, and local communities that we can turn the tools and funds at our disposal into concrete economic benefits. And through the economy, we will witness other significant geopolitical developments that have to do with less fragmentation, more integration, and more civil society capacities, all elements that are relevant for a sound Mediterranean approach as well. This strategy is the true laboratory where the basin's future is made. It could easily become a model for others, and I know for sure that the world is watching. I have no doubt that if this strategy and this action plan go from words to actions, they will make the Adriatic Ionian region a much more vibrant, economic, and sustainable region. Thank you very much for listening.
I will ask Commissioner Vella and Commissioner Creţu and all other representatives of the government to go closer to the flags. It's a photo opportunity. And also President Spaka from the Marche region, if you could join the ministers. Nije mi, to mi nije upravo kako. And once we are done, I would ask the ministers and representatives of governments to take the seat on the stage.